Happy Veterans Day. I'm really excited about this one. I hope you are too. We're going to talk a little bit about the Metaverse. I got Patrick with us, co-founder, Metaops Gaming. Let's learn a bit.
We need to talk about the Metaverse. So let's put on our VR headsets and dive in.
What is the Metaverse? It's a virtual environment where you can be present with people in digital space. Kind of think about this as an embodied internet that you're inside of rather than just looking at. And we believe that this is going to be the successor to the mobile internet.
For the past few months, everyone in tech has been talking about the Metaverse nonstop. There are lots of different definitions floating around out there, but no one has done more work to popularize the term Metaverse than Matthew Ball.
The best way to think about it is a quasi-successor state to today's mobile internet in much the same way today's mobile internet built off of the internet of the 90s and 2000s.
It's not just Fortnite or VR or crypto. The Metaverse is an idea that ties these concepts together and seeks to explain how they all interconnect. Fortunately, Matthew Ball has laid out a few key ideas that highlight what this evolved form of the internet will look like. The real promise of the Metaverse is one of universality. It's right there in the name. The verse in Metaverse only works if we develop a full-fledged world that is open to anyone and encompasses everything. The Metaverse will have a fully functioning economy. Increasingly, the internet is simply the best place to make money. Nearly every business has moved online now, but there's still a long way to go until we have a fully digitally native economy. Most transactions are still siloed in particular virtual spaces, and investment in digital goods is still in its infancy. Sixth, the Metaverse will have unprecedented interoperability. This means being able to bring a Fortnite skin into Minecraft and vice versa. Tim Sweeney, who founded Epic Games and owns Fortnite, has been talking about this for years now, and it's clearly an important goal. These days, most internet products are walled gardens, and users have no real way of moving data, items, content, or currencies between services. One of the cornerstones of the Metaverse will undoubtedly be payments infrastructure. The ability to buy, sell, and most importantly, actually own things in the Metaverse could be the most transformative part of this new era. Facebook hasn't really been able to crack payments yet, but crypto certainly has.
If you're not hyped up right now to figure out how to get a piece of its stellar family, I don't know what else to do for you. I've got Patrick Schulte, co-founder of Metaops Gaming here in the building. And I am just, man, that was a great video, by the way. Those clips were from John, let me get his name right. John Kogan, who put that video together. It was titled, Why Facebook is Spending Billions on the Metaverse. Earlier today when I was talking about the Metaverse, a lot of reactions were ill zuck. And I realized that if people are looking at the Metaverse, and I guess that's what marketing does, right? He kind of changed the name to Meta to introduce it to a new audience. But I'm glad that Patrick, you're here because you have been really diving into this space for a long time. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here.
Glad to be here, Sam.
Hey, so let's start off a little bit just talking, give us a little background on yourself, Patrick, and your maybe a little tour of your journey through crypto.
Yeah, so a little bit about me. I'm an engineer from Texas A&M, industrial.
Woo, Texas A&M. Shout out to Texas A&M.
Shout out Texas A&M. Woo! And so I've been in this crypto space for the better part of about probably half a year, 3/4 of this year with NFTs. Fully. So originally I started out, I've been trading all through high school in different cryptos and learning the different spaces, the different contracts and how they all work and the different ins and outs of the Metaverse has come very recently, I'd say. So in the last 6 months, I've tried to spend every day, you spend at least 15 minutes learning something new. If you stick to that, and that'll just really change the game for you and anyone else listening on board, to learn something new every day. Spend 15 minutes, learn something new. You might even make a career out of it, which is what me and Jacob have been able to do with Metaops. So yeah, basically probably since ninth grade, I've been really involved in crypto, just, saving up, diamond hands, absolute hodl to the moon. I definitely say my mains are XRP, XLM, ADA, Matic. I really like Matic, even some VeChain.
Nice, nice, nice.
It's really great. I mean,
Yo,
there's some absolutely crazy stuff in this space.
so what? Going back to the metaverse, what kind of sparked your interest? In there, because I know a lot of people, honestly, even in the crypto world, didn't even think about it until the Facebook announcement. So, I mean, you've been doing it for over 6 months now. What really, sparked your interest and made you say this is where I need to focus my time?
I would say that the fact that crypto is able to bring this many people together so fast and really, disrupt the market, not let alone just being able to drive money, but getting big eyes on it. And even one of the biggest names in social media, Mark Zuckerberg, he's
Hmm.
realized that there is something huge here and something that we're just on the tip of the iceberg on. I mean, right now in crypto, so in 2001 there were less people on the internet in 2001 than are in crypto right now. And so you think about that, and you think of the
Wow,
moves
wait,
you're
wait,
making in this.
say that one more
Yeah.
time. Say that.
So in 2001, there were more people on the internet than there are in crypto right now.
Wow,
And that
wow.
is really mind blowing. And so if you think about it, to be in this space and be able to make plays, make moves, and really get a handle on this space, you're definitely doing something that's different than the average person. And I mean, trying to explain this to like your parents or something, or just a friend, even it's very hard to explain the metaverse. And so if you spend that 15 minutes like I was talking about learning how to do it, you can really change the game for yourself and those around you. I mean, like I said, I started doing this to really be able to start my own community, start Metaops, and be able to expand it to the multi thousands.
Wow.
Hopefully, it eventually rival COD or something like that. Because like so I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but how the blockchain works is everything is recorded in blocks and every transaction is saved. So if I say I own a skin and then Trump goes and buys it or someone goes and buys that skin, well, that's all recorded. And so then the next person, if Kanye West then wants to go buy the skin, well, everyone can see that. And that's the biggest thing is what we're trying to do here in MetaOps is take that the untarnishability or the credibility that the blockchain brings and those contracts bring to the gaming world. So to be able to have that and play with it, play an actual fun game that you enjoy while you're also making money and slash a name for yourself. And that's the main reason why I wanted to get into this space, just bring people together, be able to just be a part of something bigger than myself. Um,
That's
have
great.
something that's not just in your country or in your backyard, something that's global.
Yeah, you're hitting on so many different points there. That's what got me excited about this space. And people always ask like, oh, how big do you think this can go, or how far do you think this could go? I have no idea because, like you said, I mean, like I even look at the total market cap of crypto, right? And I'm like,
It's
that's the size. That's less the size of some of the top companies. One company
it's
eclipses the entire market cap of crypto. Like, I don't think people really understand the opportunity, and I do. I always, and that's why I do videos like this because, the tokens are great, but this world is going to change onto the blockchain, and that's where the opportunity really
sooner than
lies.
we're ready for it. Sooner than we're ready. And people like Elon and Mark and even both Mark Zuck and Cuban, both are really making a name for themselves in the metaverse. And I would say that we're going to need these big players who can polarize their communities to, like their thousands of followers, thousands of millions of followers in some instances, to where to mainstream this idea of the blockchain and having everything, open source. I think that is going to be a huge game changer and is partly the bigger reason why so many of the big governments, the big companies, they're all pushing against crypto, and it's because they're, in my opinion, are afraid to go open source. Now that is a bold statement, but I mean, if everything is out there open for the public, wouldn't you think it'd be a better world?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you're absolutely right. There is a lot of misconceptions about open source. When I first, how I got connected with Jacob, it's interesting. So earlier this week, someone from our Stellar Global community was really on me. Shout out to Time Bandit to really deep dive into this. Shortly after that, another community member, Shark, was doing this Twitter space that I hopped into. And I was just listening. Jacob was in there. So, like, immediately we connected. We had a call the next day. And then from talking to him, I reached out to another member in the community, Fred, who has I don't know if Jacob told you about Lightmint yet, but oh man. So Fred, one of our community members, Fred, he created this gaming console called Lightmint, and I met Fred probably 2018, 2019, and he was already building exactly kind of like the structure of what we're talking about, where you have the ability right now to utilize an NFT from a game or the real world and easily dump it in. So you can trade an NFT and that piece becomes playable. And so we were talking to Jacob, just like really introducing him in many ways to really what's going on, even here in Stellar with the decentralized exchange and all the abilities that are there. There are just so many great opportunities that I'm excited for. I wanted to ask you, so how would you define the metaverse for everyone that's listening right now? How would you, Patrick, define it to somebody?
I take it a step back first. So I'd first go back and do the blockchain. So to describe the blockchain, I like to give an example of you're in a classroom, right? And so this whole classroom, everyone gets a marker, and these markers are different colors and they have their names on it, right? And so when you go up and write on the board, everyone knows what's your color, right? And so that board is essentially the ledger, or essentially the blockchain. And so each time someone writes on the board, a new block is formed. And these blocks you can't mess with them, you can't change them. Once they're contracted, they're out there and they can't be changed, they can't be manipulated, and it's to the line of the contract. So if I wrote like I Heart New York or something, that can't be changed because I've already sent that onto the blockchain. So as in, like, I've paid for something and I say I just bought some Jordan sneakers online with Ethereum. Well, that transaction is now stayed and it sits on the next transaction that is right next to, say, me when I buy a Fortnite skin. All those are right next to each other, unbroken, unbeatable. And so now you have each one of these little blocks that contract can also be metaverse. So there can be multiple metaverses all next to each other on the same block with the other markers, right? So your marker is your wallet in that example. And so using your wallet, you can hop block to block, metaverse to metaverse. And as long as you have an NFT, a crypto coin, or just straight up buying into their contract, then you can get into that metaverse or play that game or use that skin. And so that's the idea of the metaverse. Is so then now you have a place in which you can play with your NFT, you play with the skin, the character, even the upgrade you just bought. And so then all of those are right next to each other. And it's again, unbreakable. I can look up your code and I can look up Trump's code. I keep going to him. I don't know why.
Him and Kanye.
Yeah, him and Kanye. But yeah, I mean, it's there right next to each other and it's an unbeatable thing. That's the thing, is that everyone can then go and look at that code, and it can't be shady unless you want people to see that you're doing shady business. And that is the biggest thing to all of this, is you have a source of anonymity, that's a big word, to be anonymous. Yeah. And then you have it of the open source part where it's there and you can't, like, it's a proof, you know what I mean? Like, just like in regular coding, what's in the lines is in the lines. So if you make a contract, like with a bank, say you went to a bank and you loaned money, well, they can, in 10 years, if you don't pay your thing back, they change the terms or something like that. You can't change those terms on a blockchain contract. Right. And that is, again, one of the biggest problems and the biggest things that is coming after centralized banking, and why decentralized finance is such a big deal, is because you have exactly what's happening right there in that block, and it's safe. And again, it's next to every metaverse, and every metaverse can be accessed as long as you're a part of that wallet. And that is just
mind blowing. And I think too, a lot of times people hear open source, they equate that to free, right? Free and open source.
Yeah.
But I think that there will always still be an element where the average person is not going to go through code. They're still gonna, like I give a quick example. IBM has IBM WorldWire, and it's open source using Stellar. Well, their business model is essentially, it's open source, but you still are going to use, let's say, Metaops, IBM, whoever it is, to actually utilize it, right? And so it's open source, so you get all the advantages like you just mentioned, where it could be checked. You can check the security, but I'm not going to create my own metaverse. I'm going to go ahead and utilize Metaops, and I'm going to and maybe pay you guys, right?
You can do that.
Right.
That's the thing, though, is you can go through the code, you can read it, and if you're unsure, you can hire someone else who can read it for you.
Great point.
And it's huge. It's huge what you can do, because not only Sorry, go for it.
No, I was going to ask you a question on that. So, like, when the internet was first, formulating and coming out, right? It was really open-ended or open source, where, people, everybody was basically rolling up their code. What ended up happening was that it wasn't user-friendly. And so going back to mass adoption, so then you had, the Googles came in and started taking control of the search. You had, the Apples, the Microsoft, they all came in and it kind of centralized it. Now we kind of evolved to the point where, with crypto especially, where everyone's going decentralization, open source, and now we go into the metaverse. So do you think that there's a concern, maybe, especially when you see someone like Mike with Zuckerberg, coming into the space, that we might have a centralization going again?
So I think what you're going to see is a little of both. So you're going to be, I more than welcome it, because we're all waiting for someone to come up with some solution to mainstream the process for these random Joe and Schmo to be onboarded into these metaverses. So whether that's everyone downloads Coinbase to be able to get a discount on a drink or something. And so they download this app, and that's their first time they're exposed to it. And so then they're either given some type of incentive to do more digging, right? So then you have your average people who want to stay with the mainstream, but then you have your people who want to go the extra step. And so that's why I think that crypto is going to be such a, like today I saw something where it was like Bitcoin is inflated 80% by Tether. And I just thought that was funny, because even if that was the case, there's still such a huge backing to it that even if Tether went to zero, Bitcoin still would, all of crypto wouldn't take as big of a hit. You know what I mean? Like Bitcoin would definitely take a huge punch if that were to happen.
Right.
But it would bounce back. There's too much staying. There's too many things in place that are working smoothly, generating money, and making the world go around. And the more that people adopt to this type of technology, it's just like when the first Nintendo came out.
I remember that. I had the duck hunt.
And they all thought that it was never going to work. They thought it was going to be a stupid idea, and that kids would never want to play video games. And now you have gaming, which is $1 trillion industry. And imagine if you could pair it with a way for even the average player to make a business. That's where this is going, is
right.
that even the average person can start a business in this crypto space. So now not only can they buy NFTs to invest, but they can then turn the profits that they've invested into projects of their own. And that, I think, is the biggest part that we need to streamline to all these people, is to tell them that, hey, there's serious money on the table, and it's there for you to grab.
Man, you're talking my language, man. See, you're talking economics. I love that. You're absolutely right. Give this guy a round of applause. Give the guy a round of applause. No, you're absolutely right, because, when you look at the news and you see mass exodus, they call it the mass resignation of jobs. People are tired of the same old, same old. And I think during the pandemic period, people got a taste of the other options out there, and they had the time to really see things. We see it all the time. We see it in our community. I mean, I know that there are people within, our Stellar community that are paying their bills, that are buying food, paying rent, off of, with crypto, with NFTs that they're selling. It's amazing to me. And especially for creatives, because, I look at, and this is there's, especially when you mentioned, like, let's say the beginning of Nintendo and video gaming. I also look at the beginning of rap music, right? And hip hop, kind of the similar formula. No one thought it would make it. I mean, pretty much almost every single top song, even if it's R&B or whatnot, has an element of hip hop in it. And what we've seen lately with music is this immersion of creativity, where you're not just listening to a song, you're listening to you're either getting their NFT, you're going to their concert. Their concert's like their own world that you basically come into, right? You're starting to see this immersion begin to occur, and it's like we started off, for instance, with the record labels controlling everything. Now, I mean, most of these artists, I mean, I read an article.
Just drop an NFT collection.
Yeah, they can drop an
NFT, baby.
Tory Lanez. Yeah.
That guy's got.
Yeah, he's a genius. Yeah, no, he's a genius. He's a genius, and I mean, people like that are just gonna flip the switch. And I think that once again, just like with banks, I see that music record labels are gonna have to start to adjust what they're doing. There are people right now that are able to. They're in the process of bringing royalties onto the blockchain. And so, wait a minute. Yeah. I can drop a track. I can put out an album, have an NFT. I can track my spins all automatically. It's insane.
I was pitching the idea to Insomniac. They actually own the rights to like EDC and things like that. Mm-hmm. And I was pitching them the idea of NFT tickets. So instead of you paying a single time for a ticket, that company also makes royalties every single time that NFT trades hands. So, I mean, RIP to the people at Astroworld, but say you sold an NFT collection for that concert, and not saying that, it was a good thing it would happen, but that's a concert that will go down in history as one of the craziest things that has ever happened. Now, imagine if you owned that NFT. And I mean, that's another thing, is like now everyone can see, like it just really, it breaks down barriers, and it promotes a level of trust that is a little bit above what the human race can handle, in my opinion. I think that it is so open and so honest that a lot of people are having problems with it. And that is going to be something we're going to have to get past.
Yeah, no, you're hitting the head. When I started really diving into this, I realized that this is going to happen. This is happening already. This is absolutely happening already. So let's take a step up again. We talked about tickets. What are some of the, I think, cool things that you're envisioning or maybe even seeing out there that people can do in the metaverse? I mean, is it just gaming, or do you see this really crossing over into
everything,
day-to-day life?
From paying your taxes to ordering pizza from Domino's. Domino's has a Decentraland plot. I don't know if you're aware of that.
No, wait, what?
Yes. Yeah. So let me explain Decentraland real quick. So
let's talk Decentraland.
So the blocks that I described in the blockchain, right? So now those blocks in Decentraland are called parcels. And so each of these parcels are, as you add them together, they're 52 feet by 52 feet or 30 meters by 30 meters. And so if you add these estates together, or these parcels together, you make an estate. And so once you have an estate together, people can come to your land or your metaverse, right? And so then all these estates are backed financially through their coin land, and so their crypto coin basically like you pay money to buy this crypto coin, and then you buy the estate. And so that's all backed through the value of the coin. As the coin goes up, the value of the land goes up. And so anyone from like Tesla has a huge space. Metaops is actually looking into a 4x4 estate, so 4 blocks, because we want our own spot, and we want to be able to put our own marketing on it and everything else, and be a because once you go into that parcel or that estate, you're then teleported into their metaverse. And so all we have to do is add an easy connection, and it connects them right to our game that we've already built. And that's one of the craziest things. So now we can go from our game playing in the Metaops to go checking out the Teslas to walking across the street to go seeing Domino's and order a pizza to my house from Decentraland's Domino's location. Now,
Oh
if
man.
that's not future, I don't know what is. But that's
I'm kind of with
crazy.
JK, man. I'm kind of with JK. I'm getting nauseous. this is this is crazy. Yeah, it is. No, but man, it's yeah. And there's probably a couple other really creative ways of using that we probably won't even talk about here on this family show. I can just imagine all the craziness that's gonna go into this virtual world out there.
That's another thing that will always be a problem.
Right,
You don't know who you're
right.
talking to on these. Don't talk to anyone you don't know on the internet, kids.
That's
Be
right.
sure
That's
you know who
right.
you're talking to.
Well, you know what's interesting? I remember like years ago there was a online system called Second Life. I'm not sure if you ever heard of Second Life, but Second Life was really like I don't know for certain, but I'm almost certain that it was like the first real metaverse
Sims.
environment.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah, yeah,
Sims.
and
That's cool.
I remember watching this, and at the time it was still kind of this was when Bitcoin was definitely under $1,000. Back it was like early days, and yeah, I remember there were people that were disabled, people that had anxiety issues that were making a living on Second Life, and yeah, gosh, it's amazing where this is going.
So not only can you make your own project, so you get a group of people together, you fund a various project, like say Metaops, for example. You build out a game, and then you present it to the community as a way for them to not only enjoy themselves in their pastime, but a way for them to make money. So, like, in my eyes, I want people to open up gun shops and like weaponsmiths and other shit
Mm,
like that, to where they're using our guns to make themselves a profit for themselves, doing something that they like. And whether that they do it forever or they do it for a month while they, build up the money they need to start their own project or accomplish their own problem on the metaverse.
no, that's
Uh,
great. That's great. Yeah,
and
it's unlimited creativity, unlimited creativity,
yeah,
and the ability for anybody to generate an income with whatever talents they have. This is gonna change educational systems. You realize that, right? I mean, it's
I think they
completely
should start
changed.
teaching school through it, through
Yeah,
open source contracting. Absolutely, because then
yeah,
again, you know exactly what's going on. You know exactly what's in the schedule. The teacher can't
yeah.
show up late or assign some bullshit pop quiz. It's all open
Right, right.
source.
Right. So let's talk about Metaops. We've been kind of talking just about Metaverse in general. When did the idea for Metaops gaming start? Let's start from there, and then you could go in and explain to us what exactly the game concept is.
Yeah, so I would say MetaOps has been going for about 4 months now. Um, I basically just thought about wanting to play video games and wanting to make my money back. I'm a huge avid Call of Duty fan, always have been since at least third grade, I'd say. Um, and then, I mean, we basically realized that we could actually do this, make our own game on the metaverse, and all it took was learning how to do the proper connections. So making a first-person shooter game wasn't as hard as we thought. I mean, we contracted Tipping Toast Media. They do work for Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed, pretty much like a lot of really big games. They do a lot of stuff for EA as well, and so they
Nice.
do a lot of like first person graphics. And so those, I would have to admit that it's not easy doing these types of graphics.
I mean, this looks official, man. This is
It's way better than we expected.
yeah.
Tipping Toast is really good at what they do. They definitely take pride in what they do, and really want to develop a product. I mean, this is one of the first beta tests that we did too. Like, we still have to go back and, like, right there, he's looking through the scope. We'll have to add that camera view to where it's just a camera that's zoomed in.
Okay.
As well as, like, details about the game. Like, he just fell through a barrier. That'll have to be patched. But really, like, so that basically we just wanted to have it to where your class and your loadout and your setup that you've worked so hard to do and to level up to be something that you can turn around and sell when you want to grow up or quit playing or take a break. You can sell the rest. You can sell some of your ARs and spares. Say you need liquidity. Well, you just sell some of the guns that you have on the side and in your wallet, right? And so then you can take a step further, and as you level up, you're given the ability to, open mystery boxes, earn the in-game currency to also buy those in-game mystery boxes, and then to, get these NFTs in open drop fashion. So like the regular minting process, to where there's a certain amount of contracts that we do per drop. It won't be a pay to earn though. Like, you can't spend, $300-400 and be the best player there is.
Oh, good, because I can't stand that.
Yeah. And that's definitely the worst. There will be a not only a skill-based matchmaking that they're putting on, but there's a lot of we're working with them to implement we found a cheating software on open source. The name is slipping me right now, and I'm sorry for name dropping without the name, but there's a program to where it goes and it tracks you. It'll watch your gameplay. So, like, you record someone playing, and then you submit the footage into this open source program that has billions of recorded footage of both hackers and regular gamers. And so it can tell if you're a hacker or not. And so we're working with them to implement that into our game. And it's crazy. I mean, it is crazy. I thought that was one of the coolest things. It literally just tracks, it renders all of your frames one by one as it goes through, and it'll do as many frames as you give it. So I think there's a limit of like 30 minutes of footage, but still, I mean, that's enough to get someone if they're cheating or not.
No, this is awesome. I know a lot of people that are going to be listening to this on Spotify. You can't really see. Make sure you go and get that link and watch the video, because, I mean, what we're seeing here is pretty neat. I remember when I was talking to Jacob, he said that literally you can go in one direction and walk like 5 miles if you wanted to.
Yeah, so this is a template map that you just have a little small section where it's your actual gameplay. Like, we'll have it all walled off to where you can't go that far.
Good. I'll get lost.
We have a whole world that we can build on, and we could build a map right next to this, or 10 maps right next to this. I would say that the coolest part about all of this, though, is the fact that, so in order to entry level into the game, you have the L1 node, or our Ethereum beta pass. So you pay Ethereum. This gets you access to the game, access to in real life events, different things like that. And then we have our guns, which are the L2 node, or we're doing it through the Matic network and through Polygon. So nice. Polygon is historically known for its logistic capabilities and logging vast amounts of data. And so that's why we're doing it with the guns. So someone can have, several hundred guns in the same wallet and it not crash, because A, there's super low gas fees with Polygon network, and B, the data isn't as expensive to move, or expensive or as big. So it can fit all right next to each other in a much smaller space than it would on the blockchain, as well as being more cost efficient and everything else. And that's one of the things I'd say I'm most excited for.
No, that's great, man. Shout out to the whole Polygon team. I know that it was just a bridge created, I know, with the Stellar Network as well. And man, I hope everybody out here in the Stellar community is watching this. I know that when I was talking to Jacob, I brought in Fred on a call. We were talking the other day, and we're gonna be looking at some sort of ways to collaborate and expand on what's going on in the metaverse, because there's just so much opportunity to really do some things.
Absolutely.
This is
Put
really
your money
great.
into it, guys. $100 a week. Put $100 into a week into crypto, and you will not regret it.
Nah,
I've been
exactly,
doing that
exactly.
since high
Yeah.
school.
Blue pilled. I'm with you on that. So I mean, in
Yeah.
talking about, I mean, looking at the metaverse, all the great things. What are some of the shortfalls? Like in the intro video, there were a couple different things that were kind of necessary for all of this that we're seeing here to become a reality. Share with us some of the negatives, or like I said, more of the shortfalls that you're experiencing right now that we're still waiting to hopefully expand to.
So it's like negatives of the metaverse or
Yeah,
negatives
or
of expansion.
technology. Yeah, I mean, the technology that we have present, or is there aspects that you would like to see developed? To talk from that angle of it.
I think it would be huge if some companies stepped up and became like the customer service of the blockchain or something like that. Because if you have a problem, you got to sit there and you go through your different chat ball, your forums, and your different Google sites and everything else. And I mean, I'm experienced in this stuff, and I even have a difficult time getting some of my questions answered. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I guess it'd be really nice to get some type of, not necessarily centralized, but just a spot where you can go to get your questions answered, and like have a customer support team. I think that'd be huge. Um, that, and I guess just getting people involved, getting the word out. It really does take uh, key figures who can make an impact to make the disruption that we need to get crypto and the metaverse moving into the directions that we need it to move.
And
I would
where is
definitely
that?
say that.
Yeah, yeah. Where is that? Where would you say that is? I mean, you never know. It always amazes me who listens to these podcasts sometimes, the DMs and the meetings that I have. I mean, if there was a direction or a pull that you could hint out to somebody, what would it be?
I mean, personally, I think it should be done in daily life. I mean, I think that when you go to the grocery store, your receipt needs to be an NFT. And I mean, how many times do you go to the grocery store and you just throw up that piece of paper? Well, imagine
Yeah.
if you could have it logged, and then not only logged, but you could run analysis on it to not only see what you're spending, how you're spending it, how much weight, how many calories you're gaining. Because if that box of Pop Tarts is on the blockchain, well, all of its calories and all of its stuff that is on the back of the box will also be there, next to the price, next to the owner, next to who's the average person who's buying that brand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Different things like that. Anything from grocery stores to your taxes for that year. It should definitely be a open source document that tells you how much taxes or how much you need to pay. I mean, how many people go and hire someone to do their taxes for them every year? Imagine if that was just
Yeah.
an open source document that you just had to, type a few things in, and then you see
Make
exactly what's
it.
going to happen.
Yeah, JK said make it more tangible, or really allow it to try to bring it into everybody's daily lives, man. I
Exactly.
think this is a lot. I mean, I really like what you guys have going here with the game. Um, it's I see that crypto is going to have a major role. You mentioned that you're a holder of multiple different tokens. Shout out to XLM. I heard you mention there, amongst some others. Where do you like? You mentioned the Decentraland. Before we sign off here, what are some of the other projects that you have your eye on that are currently doing things in the metaverse? Crypto projects.
A couple of big projects. I'll do some. Okay, so crypto projects first. I'd say the biggest. Definitely look into Matic. Definitely look into ADA. Learn how to pancake swap. Spend 15 minutes learning how to pancake swap and trade some shit coins. Get like $100 team and put it into some stuff you don't care about, and learn how to stake. If you're not also learn how to stake, I'd say that's a huge thing to get above it.
That was the first thing
ton of
Jacob
money,
told
just-
me. That was the first
Yeah.
thing Jacob told me. He goes, "Are you staking? Because it's the greatest thing ever."
Yeah, I stake about 90% of all my crypto. And that's over I think I might have 9 different apps. It's horrible, but it's worth it to find the best, the best deal, the best APR, APY.
Yeah.
And
No,
I-
absolutely.
Yeah, and then I would say that the biggest NFT projects I really like, like little niche stuff like Wicked Bone Club, Crypto Dads. I like a lot. Made a bunch of money with Crypto Dads. That's how I've been funding a lot of my projects. Crypto Dads especially was a cool one. Metaops, definitely focus on Metaops.
Definitely the Metaops. Yeah. Are you guys gonna have an in-game token?
We're thinking
In-game
that.
currency?
So we're debating between a crypto because we're under the impression that if you have a crypto and you're a gaming company, it's a money grab, and so
Right.
we want to do our best to stay away from that because I want to build a big ass gaming company that people want to take off work and go play some days and just
Nice.
be able to build something that lasts. And when people think NFT gaming, I want them to think Metaops. And the only way we can do that is by building something that'll not only last, but that our community can trust in us and just really be able to build that out. And so we definitely want an in-game currency, whether that's backed on the Ethereum blockchain or not is a discussion for a little bit down the line. But we do have things in process in place to reward you with, airdropped NFTs, different things like that, IRL events, just things like that. And we're definitely
Patrick,
excited
man.
over there at Metaops.
Well, I'm excited too, man, and be on the lookout. There's gonna be a lot of us in the Stellar community that's gonna be looking at ways to collaborate with you guys and to learn more and to expand what we're doing over here because it's a huge opportunity that excites me. Honestly, I mean, like we said earlier, from not just from the tech side, but the entrepreneurial side as a whole. I think, and when you talk about payments, yeah, it's flag down in there, man. Patrick, once again, man, Metaops Gaming, really a great product. Thank you so much for hanging out with here, man. I think we spent about 45 minutes with us, really sharing all your knowledge. Everybody out there, check out next week. I've got a show with X-Bull Wallet, man. I'm excited about that. It's brand new wallet, really bringing something new and fresh to Stellar. So thanks again, Patrick. Hang on tight. We will. I'm gonna talk to you for a little bit. Everybody else, we will see you next week. Take care.
Thanks, Sam.